Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me today. This Eight of Swords is the denial card. This is a poverty mentality. I'll never be able to make enough money. Um, Not seeing where you may be keeping yourself, your beliefs may be keeping yourself stuck. For some of you, you had a breakup and you're depressed and really having a hard time moving on. This is grieving. Um, so if you're really having a hard time, I feel like some of you are having, there's probably a couple groups of people. If you're really having a hard time, go seek out a therapist that, um, whose job it is to really listen and focus solely on you. Because I fear that you may get sympathy fatigue from your friends. It gets to a point where no matter how good a friend they are, if you're sort of stuck somewhere, it can get to the point where it's like, oh my God, I can't hear so and so. It doesn't mean they're not a good friend, but complain about this guy or this girl who treated them like crap. Like, like, I can't. It just, or they keep wanting to go back or they keep allowing it. And so a therapist is going to be a much better choice to really help you, not just listen to you, um, but help you sort of in a professional way. So that's just for some of you, and I'm sorry if you're going through a hard time. It is a choice because she has blindfold. She has a blindfold on here. She has a blindfold. Does she have a blindfold on here, and she's literally covering her eyes here. It's and there are these two cups in the background, so getting some perspective, and she's focusing down here. It's almost like, okay, so in the Five of Cups, the traditional card has these three cups spilled and two full cups that people aren't seeing. And this one, it's like she's focusing on how those three cups used to be when they were filled. And is just missing that so much and just isn't looking at is just sort of stuck there. And I'll never find someone again. Maybe this could be a lost job. This could be, but there's something where, and if you lost a person, I'm not talking about losing a loved one. Like, that's a whole different cup of tea, and definitely see a therapist. But that, I'm not going to tell you to get over that. That's going to take as long as it takes. And so I'm not talking about something, tragic, but I'm talking about a breakup or something that didn't work out where you're just really, really stuck. And it's probably getting to the point where it's, you should be getting on, you should be moving on by this point. Or you could have someone in your sphere of influence that's really struggling with something. So just encourage them to get help. But what I do see, so this may be something that has happened in the pretty distant past that you're unaware of. And this is probably where it's for most of the people, you're unaware of. So, denial can is kind of negative, like you're in denial, you were doing something wrong, but you just really may just have no appreciation that it's still affecting you that much. It's reminding, Chelsea Handler has a new book, I haven't read it yet, that's come out, and I saw her on a talk show, and she was like, I finally went to therapy in my 40s, and I'm like, but I don't want to talk about my family or my childhood. Like, I had a brother that died when I was 9, but whatever. And she's like, everything was about that. Like, that situation that I was just like, yeah, it sucked, but whatever. She just really, because it was happened so long ago, she just had no appreciation for how that significant, tragic event. So this is where that type of event, maybe it happened like a really, really long time ago. I'm not talking about a current situation if you have experienced a real tragedy recently, but it could be a tragedy that happened a very, very long time ago, and you just can't appreciate how it's still affecting you today. It's affecting your relate. You're just going to be like, you just, and again, I feel like you just don't have. I mean, I'm not a professional therapist. I don't know. You just can't appreciate that could still be affecting you, um, and affecting relationships and perceived blocks you have in your life, um, can stem from something that you're just completely unaware of. So it's time to but I feel like you're ready. You're open to it. This Queen of Swords is ready to see the truth and get at the truth and talk about things. Maybe you want to become a therapist, maybe journaling, writing about stuff. Like, she's open to information and the truth. And you also have this King of Swords. So this is also a couple when you see the two come out together. But this is really, really talking something through, talking something out, and figuring something out, writing things down, getting things on paper, figuring things out. You could be in a situation where you have to really, like, maybe there's an audit happening. You really need to go back through things, your finances, everything, and really like doing the math. Sometimes just doing the math. I worked at a bank a million years ago, and I would have people come in and say, I don't, bring their statement in and be like, I don't understand how I ended up in the negative. And even though it was all written down, I would take out the calculator, and with them watching, or spin my computer around. It wasn't quite that long ago. 20 something years ago. And I would, okay, here's your starting balance. Here's that check, negative. Here's that, negative. Here's this debit card, negative. And just go through and start. And it would end up with a negative number. And they would just be like, but I know I had more money. And they'd be like, oh, okay. Like, just something like getting the facts, seeing it on paper, can dispel any sort of illusions or confusion, or lack of understanding. You need facts. You need concrete facts. I mean, this could be something legal as well, although we don't have any of the other legal cards. But I know it's sounding very negative, but we're really moving. Being able to examine something and really look at something is going to lead you to being able to take the blinders off and make a decision. The full moon time period, because look at this full moon, to lead towards healing, and it will free you from something I think maybe you didn't even realize was sort of holding you back. And then there's healing and dreaming and moving forward, and I can do anything. And what do I want to do? I've had this self-limiting belief my whole life, and I didn't even realize I had it or where it came from. And now that I recognize it, I can move forward. And this is like having all this enthusiasm. You're almost going to have so much enthusiasm. Like, I don't know what to do, because I'm free and I can move forward. And there are so many opportunities. I've been stuck for so long. I'm not sure. I can even see you out dating. Like, oh, I like this person. I like this person. And, but once you allow yourself to be free, and this bird's also like getting a higher perspective. Oh, it's funny. Like, he has this bird, and once you get the truth, the sword, the mental things figured out, and then that bird can really soar, and you can really see like all the possibilities. You also have the King of Cups down here. he's an emotionally mature person. He's don't get so hung up on the genders. This just came out for who did I do before you? Aries. He can acknowledge his emotions, but they don't rule him. He's not in the negative, he would, oh, you hurt me, so I'm justified in my anger of lashing out on you. You're not doing what I want. It's making me uncomfortable. So I'm going to lash out at you, or to get my way, I'm going to emotionally manipulate you. Although that a lot of times that isn't that conscious, but that's how it plays out. But in the upright, he's very, okay, I'm pissed, but I'm going to wait and sleep on it. And I'm not going to fire off that nasty email, because I know once I get a little perspective and calm down, things will seem better. Understanding how your emotions affect your thoughts and vice versa. Lots of healing taking place. Like I think you will have had an incredible aha moment. I think you'll have a lot of information, like evidence-based information and understanding and education that you didn't have before. And now that you have it, you have a totally different perspective, because you're like, you could see it, you could feel it, you could touch it, and it made it understandable, instead of letting your mind run away with things and fear-based thinking, and fight or flight, or learned responses and behaviors that have been there since childhood, or you know what I mean, that we don't even realize we have. And so I see you're just going to be, especially around that full moon, like something's going to click, and you're just going to be like, I don't know, you're just going to get it, and you're going to be happier and open and ready to move forward. And even if you're afraid, it's going to be like, yeah, I'm afraid, but you know what? It's okay. I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not going to allow it to keep me stuck. And you are a fixed sign, so there is comfort in where you are and what you know and your past experiences. It's just the nature of a fixed sign. It can serve you very well, but you can also make you get stuck somewhere. So have a wonderful month. Take care.